And you're surprised to see that on the front porch, in a large chair, sits an old man who says he's been waiting here just for you, or for someone just like you. It's really all the same, he says. And soon he will pass on from this life. And as such, he would like to pass on this house to you, if only you will sit a while and listen to the story of how he came to be here, so that he might live on in your memory, so you might know the stories of those who slept in the beds that you will now sleep in. I was offering up the usual protestations that had been offered up to me countless times, always to no avail. I am not the man you think I am. But I wasn't being very convincing, and frankly, I don't believe I was trying to be. You were the darling of the art world. No surprise, right? After all, yours was not art to be passively observed on walls of museums. No, it was something to be experienced, to sit in the room as it was retched into existence, to hear the sounds, to smell the aroma of your sickness, was to be in the maelstrom of creativity itself. To attend one of your art shows was necessarily to debate late into the night with your friends the very meaning and nature of art, and whether yours was merely a symptom of a sickness deep within the bowels of society itself. You were not just an artist, you realized you were a performer. And when you discovered that not only had she never been to the circus, but she'd never been to a carnival, you took her by the hand, and oh, that moment when your skin touched her own, you felt a ripple of electricity run through your every vein and capillary, dance between your dendrites and your axons as you walked outside and brought her to the Ferris wheel. She asked, "Are we allowed?" And you said, "These are our lives, and we will do with them as we please." It just so happened that shortly before midnight, a huge horde of marauding barbarians were making their way across the countryside, raping and pillaging and plundering every village and town they came to of its silver and gold, learning along the way something we all surely know already, that no amount of silver or gold can buy you happiness. So that these barbarians were in fact depressed barbarians. Were being tired of being perceived as barbarians, had begun to realize that the only difference between being perceived as a barbarian and being perceived as a respected member of a standing army was the affiliation to a city-state. And so, talk had begun to bubble up amongst them, that what if, they said to each other, in addition to raising every village and town they came across, they raised one up of their own. They said to each other, not only would this give our missions a sense of completion, but let's face it, boys, it will make it easier to meet women, to start families, to send our children to good schools. Quickly then down a broken path of ivy to a big boxy car where you sit him in the back seat, his mother in the front, afraid to look at him, afraid of what she might see in his eyes, afraid of what he might see in hers, as you put the key in the ignition and put the pedal to the metal and speed away from that orphanage, speed out beyond the confines of the town, out beyond the edges of your paper map, out finally into the desert, where you turn onto a dirt track that seems as if it has been etched into the face of that desert like a long scar that stretches all the way towards either the horizon or infinity, whichever you might come to first. And after you've been driving for a length of time that cannot be measured on a watch, you come then to a field of broken glass, twisted bits of metal, and a car smoldering in the bushes. We lived in that house for a length of time that cannot be measured, each night telling each other our own stories, as if in so doing we might make ourselves more real.